Petey Chapter 18. The next day at school, Trevor was still angry at the bullies for what they had done. As soon as he saw Kenny in the hallway, Trevor marched directly up and poked at his chest with a finger. Fear flickered in Kenny's eyes. "The man in the wheelchair almost died yesterday," Trevor said. "If you jerks even sneeze near Petey, I'm calling the police. You'll be charged with attempted murder." Kenny backed away, holding his hands up as if for protection. "Hey, we didn't mean to hurt him or nothing." Trevor turned and left, waiting until he was out of sight before grinning. After school, Trevor stopped by home and picked up fishing poles and dug worms from the backyard. He grabbed some duct tape in case he needed to fix Petey's wheelchair. When he reached the nursing home, Trevor told Sissy about his idea to go fishing. "Great," Sissy said. "I'll help you get ready." Trevor followed Sissy excitedly to Petey's room. "I'll show you how to clean and change Petey in case you ever have to help him on an outing." "What do you mean clean and change?" Trevor asked. "It's not a big deal. I'll show you." After helping Sissy lift Petey onto his bed, Trevor stood a full 5 feet away from the bed as he watched Sissy roll Petey on his side. Seeing an old person cleaned was gross. It was like watching a mother clean a 100-pound baby. Trevor was glad when Sissy finished and they could lift Petey back into his wheelchair. "Petey needs total care," Sissy says. "That means he needs help with everything he does. Dressing, eating, scratching his nose, cleaning, everything." Sissy glanced out the window. "It's a little chilly, so let's put a light jacket on him." She selected a blue jacket from the closet and pulled it on Petey backwards, tucking the zippers in along his side. Sissy also took out a pair of sunglasses. "Use these if it's very sunny. Petey's eyes are sensitive after so many years inside." She picked up an old worn photo album. "If you ever get the chance, these are pictures of Petey and some people he has known. He loves looking at them." Trevor nodded, but was silent as they rolled Petey outside. What had he gotten himself into? Taking his friend fishing was one thing, but no way would he ever clean and change Petey. Sissy waved. "Have fun! Don't catch too many fish!" Trevor began pushing, resting the fishing poles and worms alongside Petey's arms. Petey hummed as the breeze ruffled his fine silvery hair. Several times Trevor stopped to make repairs. "I wonder if there is any way to get you a new wheelchair," he complained. Petey shook his head sadly. "Oh, we'll see," Trevor said. He stopped the wheelchair and lifted his arms like a boxer after winning a fight. He pranced around Petey as he hummed the theme song from Rocky. Loudly, Trevor announced, "Hear ye, hear ye! Trevor lad shall attempt the impossible. He shall get Petey Corbin one new wheelchair." Petey watched Trevor, amusement and puzzlement showing in his eyes as they continued. After a half hour and several dozen "oh boys," they arrived at a small lake on the north end of Bozeman. Wheeling onto the dock, Trevor locked the wheel securely. He didn't want to take Petey swimming. Not yet. Petey stared intently as a wriggling worm was threaded over a hook. Then Trevor positioned a bobber a yard up the line. "Petey, you're ready," Trevor said, casting the line out as far as he could. He tucked the rod snugly under Petey's limp arm and carefully rested the rod across his stomach so he could feel any movement. "Now watch that bobber. If it goes under, tell me, okay?" "Aye, aye." Well, Petey eyed his line. Trevor fixed his own hook and cast it out. Trevor remembered how he used to fish with his parents. They didn't call it fishing. They called it drowning worms. But that was before Dad got his new job as a produce manager with a grocery store chain. Mom worked as an accountant. In fact, that was the whole reason they had moved to Bozeman, just so his parents could take better jobs. This was their third move in 5 years. Now they never did anything together anymore. With 2 lines in the water, Trevor hoped a fish would bite on Petey's hook. Whenever a bobber wiggled, Petey's grunts came in short, excited gasps. "Not yet," Trevor said. "When a bobber goes all the way under, then I'll jerk the pole and set the hook." They watched the bobbers twitch. Suddenly, Petey's bounced under. Trevor reached and gave the pole a sharp tug. Instantly, the rod started jerking. Each tug sent surges of electric excitement into Petey's body, leaving him squealing and twisting in his chair. Carefully, Trevor reeled in Petey's first fish, a 6-inch spiny perch. He fought with it as if landing a gigantic whale. Glee filled Petey's face. Determined not to steal any of the fun, Trevor squeezed Petey's limp hand around the fish while he removed the hook. Sissy had said Petey had feeling in his skin even if he couldn't control his muscles. Each time the fish wiggled, Petey thrashed his arms. Grinning, he kept up a constant barrage of, "Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy." When finally Trevor removed the hook, Petey looked at the little fish with a worried stare. "What's wrong?" "Oh da, oh da." "Are you saying no die?" "Aye." "Should I let the fish go so he doesn't die?" "Aye, aye." Trevor honored Petey's request, carefully letting the little fish splash free. They could have caught the Loch Ness Monster, and he would have still released it. A short time later, Petey caught his second fish, then his third and fourth. The fifth fish wiggled loose from Petey's hand, flopping wildly around on the wheelchair. Trevor thought Petey was going to hurt himself, squealing and convulsing with delight. That day, Petey caught 7 fish. Trevor caught only 1. The fish were only small rainbow trout or little spiny perch, but watching Petey catch them eclipsed any thrill Trevor had ever had fishing. Returning to the nursing home, Petey had fish slime all over his white cover sheet. He reeked of fish. Trevor was glad he hadn't needed to change Petey. Sissy met them when they rolled in the door. She eyed the mess on Petey's sheet. "Well, it looks like you boys had fun." Trevor and Petey both smiled mischievously. As they said goodbye, Petey grunted at Trevor. "What is it?" "Petey, shop." "I don't understand. Is it something you want?" "Aye, shop." "You're already wondering when we're going shopping?" Petey grinned. "Aye, aye." "Ah, what a slave driver." Trevor faked an exasperation. "Okay, is tomorrow soon enough?" Petey smiled and nodded. "You two are getting a regular social calendar," Sissy teased. When he left Petey's room, he stopped Sissy in the hallway. "Hey, Sissy, is there some way to get Petey a new wheelchair? This one is falling apart." Sissy frowned. "I doubt it. It takes an act of Congress to get any approval from the nursing home administrator. Doesn't hurt to ask, though. Bring Petey. Let's try." Together, Sissy and Trevor rolled Petey to the administrator's office. The short man, Mr. Hedrick, wore a freshly pressed suit. His hair looked glued in place. After introductions, Sissy said, "Trevor, I'll let you explain to Mr. Hedrick the reason for our visit." Nervously, Trevor reached down and pulled on the loose tire rubber. "Petey needs a new wheelchair," he said, showing Mr. Hedrick all the places he had just used duct tape on the broken frame and upholstery. "Walking Petey with this chair is dangerous." "Trevor," Mr. Hedrick replied politely, "the interest you have taken in this resident of ours is very nice. I understand this man's need for a wheelchair. We must, however, consider the limited benefit he might derive at such an advanced age." It angered Trevor that Mr. Hedrick talked about Petey so indifferently, so technically. "Petey loves the outdoors," Trevor said strongly. "Without a new wheelchair to go outside, he probably will die." Trevor turned suddenly to Petey. "Hey, Petey, do you plan on dying anytime soon?" Trevor's question startled Mr. Hedrick, who blinked nervously, turning bright red. Petey laughed, whipping his arms around like stiff boomerangs. "Ah-oh-da! Ah-oh-da!" Trevor pointed to a sign hanging over Mr. Hedrick's desk. It said, "We give people reason to live, not to die." Mr. Hedrick dabbed at his hair as if the wind had ruffled it out of place. He stammered, "No, it's not that simple. We need a physical therapist's recommendations. We also need pictures for Medicaid approval." Again, the meticulous man shook his head deliberately. "Beside that, you would need my approval, which I will not give. This resident is too old to warrant that kind of expenditure. Can't you?" Almost shouting, Trevor interrupted. "I hope you're in a busted-up wheelchair someday." Trevor grabbed Petey and pushed him out of the administrator's office. Immediately, he knew he shouldn't have said that, but somehow he would find a way to get Petey a new wheelchair. He didn't need the help of a lazy administrator. Already, Trevor had a plan.